They gave me the keys. I kept finding things wrong, latches that weren't put in. The water wasn't connected to the faucet in the sink. That wires weren't connected. That when you turned the fan on, something popped. It seemed like I was beginning to do the shakedown and the once-over of the van that no one had ever done. I would not want any other clients or anyone else working with the builder to go through what I went through. It didn't seem like they really cared about being there to help make it happen. And that was it. Like, they thought that was enough. They thought that was a completed van. My builder, Nomadik Customs, put themselves out there like they're a leader in the community. And others in the community also shout their success and that they're doing things right. In my eyes, they're not. So when the warehouse door closed and the owner got in their car and I'm sitting in my van and I'm thinking, okay, now what?
A mistake or two here or there, that's no problem. We're not perfect, nobody is. But what you've seen is just the tip of the iceberg. The ending of Chapter 2 for Smarty Van is inextricably intertwined with Sarah's story. So to tell our story, we tell Sarah's story. This isn't the ending we expected, but it's the one we got. And not all chapters end on a happy note. Or do they? In this video, the full story, what we found when we opened Sarah's van, what we did about it, and 5 tips to help you choose a builder and avoid Sarah's experience. Plus, I'll show you the Smarty Van 2.0 features we finally got to finish. If you're new around here, a quick catch-up. Smarty Van agreed to embed in the builder's shop to collaborate on an automation system for Sarah's van, Smarty Van 2.0. We started in January of 2026 with a May 28 delivery date, but there was no collaboration to be found and the van just wasn't being built. You can see it in almost every Chapter 2 video. Month after month, not much progress. When it became clear the van wouldn't be ready, we built the entire Smarty Van system on a workbench and installed what we could before Sarah left. But nothing was being tested, the van never even left the shop. Did the solar work, Starlink, alternator, plumbing, did anything actually work? After waiting for her van for nearly 2 years, Sarah arrived as planned on May 28th to find out.
The van was absolutely not done and couldn't have been done because we didn't have enough conversations about what I wanted.
So she stayed 2 more weeks personally managing her own build.
I had to take my time, my effort. Given that I'm disabled, it was a lot out of me physically to be there and do that for 2 weeks.
I knew when Sarah drove away, we were going to need a way to keep developing the system and support her maiden voyage. So I deployed Tailscale. Tailscale gave us a private encrypted tunnel into Sarah's entire van network. Home Assistant, router, Serbo GX from anywhere in the world. No port forwarding, no exposed IPs, and she controls our access with a button on her dashboard. We used it to keep tuning her system after she left and keep an eye on things she didn't yet know how to operate. This is not a sponsored video, I'm just really thankful for how dead simple the Home Assistant integration is. Plus, a free account is perfect for a personal install. So with Tailscale running and Smarty Van keeping a watchful eye, Sarah finally headed north to her first van gathering. And we decided to meet up after her events to see if we could salvage the situation. We were shocked at what we found. We don't have a shop, we have a van, but this community has always been about getting it done wherever you are. And a campground with parking for 2 vans works just fine. Shar and I are no strangers to building where we have to. I opened Sarah's van, and the first thing I found had nothing to do with Home Assistant. This is the latch that secures the shelf over Sarah's bench. It's held in place by 4 pin nails. Eventually, the right bump and everything on the shelf could have suddenly dropped onto the floor or her puppy. We also found 6 bolts on the passenger side step, all of them dangling loose.
It was kind of nice to have someone else look at the van and see all the incomplete things the builder left. And it wasn't just me. I wasn't just expecting too much out of the builder.
Also, a modern diesel with 13 miles on the odometer parked for 2 years can develop problems that don't show up until it's finally back on the road. A few hundred miles in, and Sarah has learned this the hard way. But we didn't just fix safety items, we finished our job. Remember those capacitive touch buttons we made? Well, they're finally in Sarah's van. A single tap on the switch embedded in her shelf recalls any scene. Open the cabinet and the lights come on, brightness adjusted for the time of day. She doesn't have to think about it, the van just knows. Her dashboard shows and controls everything. Battery state, solar, interior and exterior lighting, HVAC, max fan, mag locks, all at a glance. Or from her phone, from anywhere. But we didn't do this alone, and honestly, we never do. Sarah drove away from 22 months of delays straight to a van festival on Vancouver Island.
And boy, am I glad that's where I was, because I needed help with solar and my plumbing, and everyone I met jumped in to help me. People crawled under my sink at the festival, just like, hey, can I crawl under your sink? I'd be interested in seeing if I can fix it.
That sounds like the van community I know.
Yeah, it's a very special group of people, this van world, and I'm glad I'm part of it.
If you've got a builder story of your own, good or bad, drop it in the comments. We want to hear it. And if you're choosing a builder, Sarah has 5 tips you're going to want to hear, and that's next. Here's what we'd tell anyone hiring a builder. 1, before you sign anything, visit the shop in person.
To make sure that what they've said to me in the sales process is what they're actually doing for clients right now.
What's the state of the shop? How many vans are parked untouched with a thick layer of dust on them? And while you're there, ask for a reference, someone mid-build.
You know, someone who's halfway done with their build. How is that going?
2, don't pay the majority up front, period. Sarah compared this to how home builders actually get paid, and it makes a lot of sense.
They don't get money from the bank for doing the drywall until they've completed the drywall, and that the bank is assured and has seen with their own eyes that the drywall is up and in.
3, even if your builder does commit to a delivery date, push for progress dates in writing too.
And if they're not willing to agree to a start date and progress dates, then you're gonna end up with something that's rushed and late.
4, was the van driven and tested with all the systems installed before delivery? And who takes you through each system when you pick it up? Be sure to ask, and don't leave without a walkthrough.
I wasn't handed over a van, I was given keys. And that's not a handoff of a custom van. Absolutely not.
5, trust your gut, but insist they prove their claims.
Outside of what the builder is telling me. I need proof. I need proof positive. It can go very wrong for you financially and emotionally and physically.
Indeed, our gut wasn't entirely clear on this one either. Nomadik was convincing, the words were right, the vision sounded right, and we made the deal. In my experience, some people are very good with words, but in the end, it's their actions that tell the real story. So that's the checklist. But this isn't where our story ends.
The people in the shop that I worked with, those artisans, from paint to intricate woodwork details, I mean, what they can execute is really amazing.
I saw it with my own eyes. The woodworking talent in the shop is real.
They didn't want to scramble. They wanted to take their time, and they verbalized that to me. And that they've spent more time on other vans, much more time on other vans than they had spent on mine for a similar dollar value.
Despite everything, Sarah's vision has come to life.
It's really special. You know, you put a lot of time and energy and the dollars you've worked really hard for. And it's really special to see it. Like, here. It looks like what I wanted it to look like. It looks better, It's hard to put together pieces in your head about, I want the cabinetry to look like this and the lighting to look just so. I had very specific ideas about how I wanted the lighting to work and to make me feel. and it does that. And that's really special.
Sarah's van isn't what she was promised. It's better because we had to fight for it.
I felt really lucky. It just took so much effort on my part. I shouldn't have felt lucky. I should have just felt joy. And those are two very different emotions.
Nobody builds a life on the road alone. And after our time with Sarah, we see joy. This time when Sarah pulls away, her van actually feels complete. Sarah's on to her next chapter, and we've got big plans to share with you for the next chapter of Smarty Van. Until then, how about another one?